Catherine, Princess of Wales, from girl next door to royal icon, style, strategy, and the art of royal PR.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, my dearest darlings. I'm Meeks, and today, by popular demand, we're cracking open the enigma that is Her Royal Highness Catherine Middleton, Princess of Wales. She's a rare paradox, utterly unknowable, yet somehow everyone's best friend. A woman who spends 6 figures a year on her clothing and still manages to integrate accessible elements as wardrobe staples. It's even been dubbed the Kate effect, marked by sellouts, website crashes, and eternal waitlists. Simply put, the value Catherine brings to the monarchy cannot be overstated. In a world of blue-blooded wealth, celebrity excess, and performative authenticity, she exists as a living argument for moderation, order, and elegance. While most public figures perform authenticity through oversharing, Catherine manages to radiate it by telling us almost nothing. My analysis today is anchored in the brilliant master's thesis by Dr. Ashley, formerly Logan, McFarlane, which meticulously examines Kate's early public and private life, as well as her role within the royal family. Crucially, it interrogates whether, as a member of the British royal family, she transcends the category of traditional celebrity to become a royal celebrity. And if so, how and why? Using that lens, I want to trace her evolution from common girl to national fashion icon, across 5 eras, giving credit where it's due while still being honest about the fact that her nearly spotless public record is actually insanely impressive, especially for someone whose fame hinges almost entirely on who she married and the children that she produced. To me, the secret of her staying power is this: Catherine has become the monarchy's living embodiment of adaptability and survival. Her public life has proven that tradition can bend without breaking, institutions can evolve without crumbling, and that in modern public life, the ones who persevere aren't necessarily the loudest, but those who can skillfully adapt to their environment. Like a masterful PR chameleon, she has taken on the praise, the scrutiny, the tabloids, the endless speculation, and kept doing her job with a level of humble commitment that underscores her deep understanding of exactly how privileged and precarious her position in life will always be. Welcome to today's episode of Fashion and Face Police, as we explore how Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge and now Princess of Wales, has not only excelled within the structure of her role, but has cemented herself as a functional icon, deliberately restrained, showing up, committing herself to service, and redefining what it means to wield influence with grace. Part 1. From Wady Katie to Duchess of Cambridge, from 2002 to before their engagement and wedding in 2011. Childhood, history, before marriage, dating, Wady Katie era. Catherine Elizabeth Middleton was born on January 9th, 1982, making her 43 in 2025, at the Royal Berkshire Hospital, the eldest child of Michael and Carol Middleton, whose growing mail-order party supply business, Party Pieces, eventually lifted the family from middle-class comfort into bona fide upper-middle-class prosperity. Kate spent her earliest years in Jordan, where her father worked for British Airways, before the family moved back to England and settled into a neatly aspirational village life. She attended St. Andrew's School, where she was sporty, studious, and quietly popular, followed by a brief stint at Downhouse, which she disliked and left for Marlborough College. Marlborough was where she really came into her own. A strong field hockey player, a competent academic, socially well-liked, and known for being grounded in an environment thick with old money teenagers. After taking a post-graduation gap year that included volunteering in Chile with Raleigh International and studying at the British Institute of Florence, she began university at St. Andrews in 2001. Initially enrolling in psychology before switching to art history, she lived in the same residence hall as Prince William, St. Salvator's, which facilitated a friendship, and by their second year, after the now mythic charity fashion show moment, William began to see her as more than just the quiet, sporty girl. In her university years, her wardrobe was the unofficial uniform of the early 2000s. Bootcut jeans, lace-lined camisoles in various pastel shades, statement belts, casually brushed out hair, and ballet flats or low-heeled sandals that reinforced a fresh, effortless girl-next-door vibe. She looked her age, fresh-faced, undone, and blissfully unaware of what would eventually be expected of her. But as her relationship with William deepened, Kate found herself in a bizarre limbo, photographed like a celebrity but without the protection, structure, or role of one. It's 2005. Kate graduated from the University of St. Andrews with a degree in art history. However, this win would propel her through a series of losses. 2005 to 2007 became a crash course in surviving press and public scrutiny. Post-graduation, she wandered professionally, took a short-lived accessories job, and was relentlessly trailed by the paparazzi, silently enduring the weighty Katie tabloid era, complete with constant engagement speculation. Her clothing during this period reflected that unsettled limbo. Practical separates, casual workwear, muted prints, and the occasional dressed-up moment at weddings, races, and charity events. 2006 and 7 marked her first significant style shift. Jeans grew darker, blowouts shinier, blazers sharper. She began attending higher-profile events where she looked strikingly composed. And when William broke it off in spring 2007, Kate didn't retreat, she transformed. She hit the gym, adopted sleeker makeup, wore shorter, more fitted dresses, and exuded a self-confidence previously unseen. Dragon boat training images in particular captured a Kate who was independent, athletic, and genuinely happy. By the time she and William reconciled later that summer,
I'm not playing with you. I want my eggs cracked, meaning I want a child. I want my name dropped, meaning I want to be married. I'm not around with you. I am not your bed maiden. I am not your maid. I am not your floozy or your... You are going to have to give me something substantial because I know I'm worth that. I'm not all there. Sometimes I have my moments, but I know one thing, I'm good to you.
Kate reemerged on the public stage with a more polished and confident visual identity, one that would define the final years before her engagement. By 2008 to 2010, her style had stabilized into what could be called early royal adjacent Kate. She was in amazing shape, dragon boating to blame, but her style had become more refined. She increasingly wore Issa, whose wrap dresses and clean silhouettes became her signature. Her nightlife photos, including neon shorts, slowly gave way to weddings, polo matches, and discreet appearances with William. Casual cardigans, tailored coats, and neat handbags slowly began to replace the carefree university staples. Kate Middleton's early style story is the tale of a perfectly young woman who had the misfortune of becoming a national fixture at 20. But she has navigated the trial of her public life with grace and poise. She's been discreet, good-natured, and respectful of not only William, but his family and her own. When the couple quietly moved to Anglesey in 2010, Kate's pre-engagement style hit a new peak, because post-Kenya engagement revealed a tan, self-assured, and happy Catherine who was ready for the next chapter. The Middleton girl next door aesthetic was merging with the camera-ready, unmistakably royal facade, a disciplined, polished visual identity that communicated maturity and an emerging sense of style sovereignty. Subtle jewelry, tonal pumps, and coordinated accessories hinted at a duchess in waiting, while the occasional high street frock reminded the public that she was one of us. Part 2. The Engaged Royal and the Royal Wedding, 2011. Kate's engagement era was a magnificently blended aesthetic chapter, a sweet spot between the youthful ease of her early 20s and the formal discipline of her impending life as a duchess. When the engagement was announced in November 2010,
Look at us. Hey, look at us.
Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought?
Not me.
she wore Issa, a nod to the brand that had shaped her pre-wedding public identity. But Kate had transformed dramatically. Her hair expertly polished, darker and glossier, her makeup subtle but defined, jewelry toned down or absent, sheer tights and pumps, and the emergence of the tailored skirt suit. She looked energized and expressive and unmistakably joyful, radiating the purposeful glow she had carried during the 2007 rebound. From October 2010 to late April 2011, her wardrobe lived squarely in cute, approachable girl-next-door territory. Fashion choices painted her as youthful, effortless, and quietly stylish. She was regularly spotted on casual or personal errands, and her pre-honeymoon stop at Warehouse on Kings Road became emblematic of this era. There, she picked up feather print dresses, lace-trimmed blouses, tropical bird sundresses, and bright-frilled frocks, pieces that radiated accessibility and uncomplicated charm. In a culture where celebrities aestheticized daily life, Kate was handing the public a wearable, copy-ready blueprint of relatable femininity. Her engagement wardrobe blended the last traces of Kate Middleton with the emerging outline of Catherine, future queen. Pre-royal style elements, recurring suede boots, occasional flirty skirts lingered, but a new visual discipline was evident. More conservative lengths, cleaner lines, coordinated accessories, and consistency that telegraphed readiness for royal life. Kate looked to other royals in positions of power, learning from their mistakes, and quietly crafted her own signature aesthetic. But as the wedding drew closer, the Kate brand made its first seismic step into capital C celebrity. In March 2011, the infamous Charlotte Todd dress, the nearly there knitted slip that she wore during the St. Andrews Student Fashion Show, sold for 78,000 British pounds. In the logic of celebrity consumption, where objects carry contagion from their owners, this sale acted as a symbolic coronation. The world was assigning financial and cultural value to Kate's origin story. That purchase effectively closed the chapter on Girl Next Door Kate and prefaced the emergence of a figure much larger, more mythic, and globally irresistible. All of this culminated on the 29th of April, 2011.
And I can tell you now, it has just been confirmed that it is Sarah Burton at Alexander McQueen who designed this dress. A very popular choice.
I am beside myself. This is such a fashion moment, I can't tell you. Sarah Burton has had the most extraordinary year because really, tragically, we lost Alexander McQueen just over a year ago. She had to step into his shoes. She's been working at his right hand.
Like 50s, isn't it?
It's exquisite.
2 meters 70, the train. And what a vision.
It's exquisite.
And it's made of ivory and white satin kazar.
Kazar, okay, lovely.
That is a fabulous dress.
And the veil being held there in place by the Queen's halo tiara, which has been loaned to her specially for this day by the Queen, made by Cartier. A very old tiara made in 1936.
When she entered Westminster Abbey as Kate Middleton and exited as the Duchess of Cambridge in a bespoke Sarah Burton for Alexander McQueen gown. The ceremony dress, lace sleeves, structured bodice, dramatic yet controlled silhouette instantly became iconic. The reception gown worked as its soft companion, but this was the true transformation from ordinary young woman to extraordinary royal celebrity. Media coverage framed the dress as flawlessly elegant, yet deeply rooted in British heritage, featuring lace sleeves done by the Royal School of Needlework, a modest train, and a vintage tiara-anchored veil that struck the perfect chord between demure and modern. The wedding became a global spectacle precisely because it staged a fantasy circulating endlessly through popular culture, a normal girl receiving a fairy tale destiny.
It's no longer a pending transaction.
The transaction has landed into the account. The balance is up now. It's uptown.
Almost immediately, the ripple effect hit the high street as retailers rushed to replicate the gown's sweetheart necklines and lace overlays, offering the masses an accessible taste of royal glamour. In this moment, Kate wasn't just a bride. She became an engine of desire, aspiration, and purchasable dreams. Okay, quick pit stop before we keep spiraling. If you're enjoying this breakdown even a little bit, please hit that subscribe button, considering liking or hyping this video. And as always, thank you all for being here, whether it's your first time or your 10th, because this wouldn't exist without all you lovely people watching. Part 3, Newly Married and the First/Second Baby, 2011 to 2016. 2011 to 2012. In the months following the wedding, beginning June 2011, Kate's style unexpectedly swung back towards accessible high street fashion, establishing the persona of humble Kate. Instead of leaning into couture immediately, she continued dressing like a humble 20-something who liked what she liked. The most defining moment of this era was her appearance in the camel Shola rice dress during her US-Canada tour, the same dress she wore while meeting Michelle Obama. That encounter symbolically paired two charismatic fashion forces, women known for mixing high and mid-range brands and projecting modern democratic femininity. Their meeting launched Kate onto a global style stage as a new kind of fashion leader, one whose charm felt attainable rather than untouchable. In a world where charisma creates social authority, both women exemplified accessible cultural leadership, allowing ordinary consumers to replicate their looks, and through them access symbolic capital. But this grounded, relatable image soon met its counterpart, Regal Kate. By late 2011, around Remembrance Sunday, her wardrobe shifted towards sophisticated silhouettes, high-fashion tailoring, and couture British designers. With the Jubilee, the Order of the Garter procession, and the 2012 Olympics on the horizon, Kate began dressing the part of a working royal with precision.
Thank you very much. Your baby in July. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. You've brought the good weather. Has it been like this for a few days?
Yes.
It's so nice. It's not like this in London, so we're making the most of it.
At the Diamond Jubilee, she wore a tailored Alexander McQueen dress and coordinating headpiece. At the Garter procession, a pale yellow McQueen coat paired with a Jane Corbett hat. This phase emphasized craftsmanship, heritage, and cultural competence, and materially contributed to Britain's fashion and millinery industries. Cosmo noted that consumer taste shifted from fascinators to more substantial headpieces, a trend directly influenced by Kate's choices. By 2012, Regal Kate blended seamlessly with the People's Kate, a hybrid persona grounded in the modern monarchy's need to maintain both cultural authority and populist appeal. As she took on ambassadorial and charitable duties, Kate often chose mid to high street fashion that felt glamorous yet attainable. Her coral Zara jeans, worn while meeting the Olympic women's hockey team, sparked a national trend, with budget alternatives selling out across the UK and Asda reporting a 471% spike in coral jean sales. She also became known for repeating pieces, like her beloved LK Bennett nude heels, always reinforcing that she remained one of us. The most symbolically charged repeat came after her first major public speech in the East Anglia Children's Hospice, where she wore a blue rice dress previously worn in 2008 and by her mother in 2010. 2011 to 2012 set the tone. She rewore pieces strategically, leaned heavily on British brands, and mastered the polished but approachable formula that made her beloved. She embraced McQueen, Jenny Packham, Amelia Wickstead, Rice, Hobbs, LK Bennett, and the occasional Zara moment that would break the internet. There was still a trace of Miss Middleton's signature style, floaty dresses, blazers, waist belts, but elevated through precision tailoring and a keen awareness of the camera. 2013. And so we enter Kate's first year of maternity fashion. In 2013, the Cambridge's public schedule was limited. Kate suffered severe hyperemesis gravidarum early in her pregnancy, took maternity leave after the birth, and the couple split their time between Anglesey and Nottingham Cottage while apartment 1A underwent renovations. In January, the Queen granted them the use of Anmer Hall in Norfolk, which also required extensive refurbishment, sparking media chatter and critique over the costs involved.
How much did you pay for this?
David, it's not polite to ask what you paid for something.
It's a $7,250 right there.
Well, that's way over budget.
Well, that's not what we paid for it.
Well, what did you pay for it?
6,000 quid, love.
Oh, God.
Thank you, Moira. And it would have been a lot less if your mother hadn't talked them back up.
You can't put a price on dignity.
Kate's maternity fashion received mixed reviews. She largely avoided traditional maternity wear, opting instead for oversized non-maternity pieces or repurposed outfits.
Excuse me? Are you pregnant or just fat? Pregnant. Okay, good.
Sometimes it worked, other times garments appeared tight or short. By June, 8 months pregnant, she leaned into proper maternity wear, culminating in a pink Jenny Packham dress and trusty LK Bennett heels for a ceremony marking the 60th anniversary of the Queen's coronation. July brought the great Kate wait, as reporters camped outside St. Mary's Hospital for the news of Prince George's birth.
I have arrived. Oh no, there are a lot of people. I thought it was only like the two of you.
And on the 22nd of July, 2013, the couple's first child, Prince George, was born. Kate's official post-birth photo mirrored the iconic polka dot dress Diana wore while leaving the hospital with William. Following George's arrival, the couple stayed briefly with Kate's parents before returning to Anglesey and later settling into apartment 1A. Kate unofficially returned to public life in August, appearing in skinny jeans at a local celebration. By September, she attended a Tusk charity event in a glitzy Jenny Packham gown, though her comfort or lack thereof was evident. Her commitment to hands-on parenting, including breastfeeding and night feeds, was apparent, and photos occasionally captured a visibly exhausted Duchess. Kate's hair and grooming also evolved. Longer styles, straighter looks. Gray roots prompted rapid touch-ups, showing her attention to detail despite the challenges of early motherhood. George's christening in October saw Kate in a cream Alexander McQueen suit, later paired with an inky blue Jenny Packham gown for an evening engagement. Outfits she would later successfully repeat with Charlotte. 2014 began slowly, largely because the Cambridges embarked on their third overseas tour to Australia and New Zealand in April. Debates swirled around whether George would accompany them. Ultimately, he did, echoing Charles and Diana's tour with William. Kate debuted a Catherine Walker coat dress and presented the public with its best ever glimpse of George, whose unimpressed expressions would soon become meme-worthy. While her color palette shifted towards bold, bright pieces, the tour's fashion generally felt a bit repetitive, with many recycled and slightly tweaked looks. Standouts included an LK Bennett dress and several American designers, Layla Rose, Tory Burch, Diane von Furstenberg, and Michael Kors, marking a notable expansion of her previously UK-centric wardrobe. Kate's first solo overseas trip to Malta, scheduled for September, was cancelled due to her second pregnancy and ongoing HG. She gradually learned to navigate maternity wear, finding clever ways to repurpose outfits despite her limited mobility. In December, the Cambridges traveled to the US, visiting New York City. In 2015, Kate's second pregnancy yielded a more confident maternity wardrobe. Traditional maternity wear was embraced, especially in the latter stages of pregnancy. On the 2nd of May, 2015, the couple's second child and only daughter, Princess Charlotte, was born. The family finally moved into Anmer Hall, using it as a summer retreat after Princess Charlotte's birth. The summer was quiet, with occasional public appearances like Trooping the Colour and Wimbledon. Charlotte's christening in July featured a cream Alexander McQueen outfit that received mixed reviews, some critiquing the family's retro aesthetic. Kate returned to public life in October with renewed style energy, experimenting with riskier choices, higher price points, new designers, and even a fringe haircut. Notable additions included grey Jenny Packham, floral Erdem, and her first Dolce & Gabbana pieces. Some day looks seemed a bit heavy for the occasion, but overall, we saw her style evolving, with its occasional misfires. 2016 opened with a Michael Kors ensemble that was elegant, but not necessarily youthful. Public scrutiny intensified. The Cambridges were criticized for privacy, perceived work shyness, and Kate's fashion choices, described by some as too boring or age inappropriate. Kate's style was scattered, but included clear wins, blue Roland Mouret and Tim Purley pieces, as well as innovative choices like cropped printed pants in Cornwall. Her mid-length, long-sleeve dresses became a favorite silhouette, offering a mix of professionalism and modernity. Overseas tours to India, Bhutan, and Canada provided opportunities for both recycled and new pieces, with standout moments including a blue Jenny Packham at a Bollywood event and a Temperley dress in Canada that offered the best view of Charlotte since her birth. Solo travel to the Netherlands showcased a light blue Catherine Walker skirt suit with generally strong styling, though minor fit issues persisted. Neckline choices shifted toward high collars and fitted bodices, sometimes creating a slightly severe appearance. Highlights included a self-portrait dress for a film premiere, the first 5 years of Kate's Duchess life, spanning her marriage, early royal duties, and the births of Prince George 2013 and Princess Charlotte 2015 represent her fashion golden age. This was when the world became fully acquainted with the Kate effect. Dresses selling out in hours, brands skyrocketing after a single appearance, and the Duchess landing on practically every best-dressed list imaginable. Her style balanced youthful femininity with the expectations of her role. Part 4. Third baby gaining confidence, family life, solidifying her role, and style, 2017 to September 2022. Kate's third major style era began in 2017 as she prepared for the birth of her third child. This period saw her become more deliberate and confident in her wardrobe choices, leaning heavily on classic British labels, Jenny Packham, Catherine Walker, Alexander McQueen, Hobbs, and L.K. Bennett, while experimenting with longer hemlines, midi dresses, and clean, graceful silhouettes. Early 2017 didn't deliver dramatic fashion shifts, but it did reinforce her loyalty to polished, appropriate dressing, and to consciously rewearing outfits so as to not overshadow her charities. As George and Charlotte neared school age, her wardrobe adapted to meet new lifestyle demands. Practical enough for school runs, visible enough for public duty, and strategically aligned with subtle brand promotion. Her maternity wear retained its signature function meets elegance balance through tailored coat dresses, softly flared silhouettes, and reliable L.K. Bennett pumps. Her consistent rewears, like Alexander McQueen coats and Jenny Packham gowns, strengthened her accessible royal aura, while sleek blowouts, soft waves, neutral makeup, and the occasional formal updo cemented her refined, confident image. On April 23, 2018, Prince Louis was born. Kate retreated to Anmer Hall for maternity leave and returned to public life with a measured, graceful re-entry that underscored her ability to balance motherhood with public duty. By 2019, all 3 children were in school or nursery, giving Kate slightly more bandwidth, and her public visibility rose in turn. Her wardrobe shifted toward color blocking with bolder colors like deep green, royal blue, and other jewel tones while preserving her trademark silhouettes, tailored coats, fit and flare dresses, and clean A-line skirts. Her chosen focus, especially surrounding mental health and early childhood development, expanded significantly, reflecting a new level of confidence and autonomy within her role. Her style followed suit, favoring longer hemlines, muted jewel tones, and classic tailoring, paired intentionally with structured handbags, mulberry, strathberry, subtle jewelry, nude pumps, and the occasional streamlined boot. Evening wear also matured with simplified silhouettes, delicate embellishment, and subdued glamour through designers like Jenny Packham and Tim Purley London. Altogether, 2019 marked the emergence of a fashion identity that balanced her roles as mother, senior royal and national figure of stability. The pandemic in 2020 produced another distinct style shift as royal engagements went virtual or socially distanced. Kate's wardrobe became more practical and minimalist, leaning into solid color dresses, versatile blazers, clean coats, and unfussy tailoring, suitable for Zoom calls and outdoor visits. Her work concentrated on education, children's mental health, and pandemic-related philanthropic efforts, often broadcast from her home as she simultaneously homeschooled George, Charlotte, and Louis. Her clothes during this period communicated responsibility, accessibility, and calm, with matching masks. It was a concrete visual strategy well suited to national uncertainty. From 2021 to 2022, Kate's style entered a phase of confident refinement and quiet experimentation. This period included several significant royal moments, notably the death of Prince Philip on April 9, 2021, the restricted funeral on April 17th, and the delayed Thanksgiving service on March 29, 2022. With her children fully settled into school, Kate's wardrobe blended her classic staples with gently adventurous choices: puff sleeves, subtle prints, statement colors, and elongated midi silhouettes. Coat dresses, structured blazers, and fluid midi skirts remain central, typically styled with nude or black pumps, or more occasionally knee-high boots. Evening and formal attire reflected deepening confidence, from sleek Alexander McQueen tailoring to elegant Jenny Packham gowns with deliberate attention to proportion and occasion. Accessories remained minimal but strategic: structured handbags, refined jewelry, and polished formal pieces like gloves or hats as needed. Her hair, now consistently styled in soft waves or loose low updos, reinforced her polished yet approachable elegance. Across 2021 and 2022, Kate and William solidified their roles as senior working royals, preparing for future leadership as the Prince and Princess of Wales. This era fully consolidated her public image, a confident, grounded senior royal balancing family life, duty, and global visibility, with composure, and a style vocabulary that communicated stability, authority, and continuity. Part 5. Princess of Wales era. Post-Queen Elizabeth, coronation, health, September 2022 to the present. The Princess of Wales' newest era begins on the 8th of September 2022, with the passing of Queen Elizabeth II at Balmoral and King Charles III's ascension to the throne. The state funeral on the 19th of September 2022 marked the formal end of the Second Elizabethan age, and immediately Catherine stepped into her elevated position with a new confidence, discipline, and intentionality. From the moment she inherited the title Princess of Wales, her wardrobe reflected a woman consciously preparing for her future role as Queen Consort. The playful prints, vibrant florals, and flirty silhouettes of previous years gave way to power dressing.
Just on my grind. Don't get it twisted. Like it's not even about being cocky. It's just about being real. Like I'm good at what I do. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's why I act the way I act. Like don't get it twisted. Like if you see me, holla at me. I'm never too ill to say what up. Like it's not that serious. Trust me, I know that.
Savile Row-esque tailoring and repeats of her most polished pieces. Her clothes began speaking in a new register. I am here to be seen, and I must be seen to be believed. Like Queen Elizabeth II and the Queen Mother before her, Catherine understands that visibility, continuity, and recognizability are now as crucial as elegance. Every sartorial decision became less about individual expression and more about the symbolic weight of what she represents, to the monarchy, to the public, and to the institution's future. The coronation on May 6, 2023 crystallized this evolution. By this point, Catherine was wearing a near constant rotation of tailored suits, monochrome dressing, and neutrals, all part of a deliberate rebranding aligning her with authority, stability, and continuity. Royal commentators noted that her commitment to a consistent fashion formula was strategic, a conscious shift away from being analyzed as a fashion figure and towards being understood as a senior working royal. Yet beneath this controlled palette lived another more powerful echo of Queen Elizabeth II, Kate's increasing use of monochrome looks. Head-to-toe emerald on St. Patrick's Day, a striking all-red ensemble at the Commonwealth Day service, tonal browns in Wales, and deep navy at high-profile sporting events all signaled her alignment with the tradition of visible monarchy, using color to embody both presence and purpose. Catherine's style continued this trajectory, even as the royal family faced a new series of upheavals. In January 2024, she underwent planned abdominal surgery at the London clinic, with Kensington Palace initially stating the condition was not considered to be cancer-related. After recovering in private and beginning preventative chemotherapy in late February, she revealed in a deeply personal video message on the 22nd of March 2024 that cancer had been detected post-surgery. Her public appearances paused as she spent most of 2024 undergoing treatment. When she returned for Trooping the Color on the 15th of June, it was in a recycled black and white Jenny Packham ensemble, updated with a new belt and matching hat, an outfit praised for embodying both familiarity and reassurance at a moment when the public sought stability. Fashion expert Elizabeth Holmes observed that the look felt fresh in a new way, but familiar in a needed way, perfectly illustrating Catherine's mastery of subtle symbolic communication. Her recovery continued throughout the year. She announced that she had completed completed her chemotherapy on the 9th of September 2024, and on the 10th of October, she joined Prince William in Southport to meet families affected by the tragic July knife attack. On January 14th, 2025, she revealed she was in remission during a visit to the Royal Marsden Hospital, where she also became a joint patron alongside Prince William. Throughout this period, Catherine's gradual shift from fashionable young royal to disciplined symbolic figure has reflected her transformation into a queen in waiting. Experts note that she is being rebranded in line with her new level of authority, and that her dedication to streamline neutrals, tailored silhouettes, and monochrome looks is part of a larger strategy to redirect attention away from her wardrobe and towards her work. Consistent color blocking, polished tailoring, and understated accessories, reflecting the continuity of the late monarch's visual legacy. Even amid personal hardship, shifting royal dynamics, and heightened public scrutiny, especially as both she and King Charles faced cancer diagnoses, Catherine's wardrobe has remained a stabilizing force. It signals authority without excess, modernity without rebellion, and continuity without stagnation, reinforcing her role as the monarchy's quiet anchor and future matriarch. But why does this matter, and what do I think? If you're still here, thank you. Catherine Middleton's success in public life rests on a psychological and strategic foundation that distinguishes her not only from her predecessors within the monarchy, but from nearly every contemporary celebrity. She is profoundly comfortable maintaining an impermeable divide between her public role and her private self. This capacity for separation, this willingness to participate in public life without requiring emotional validation in return, makes her uniquely suited to one of the world's most demanding symbolic institutions.
I don't care whether they like me or not. I'm not in the business of being liked. I'm in the business of telling the truth. If they want to hate me for telling the truth, so be it. I don't care. I have no relationship with incompetent people. Whether you are a judge or not, if you are incompetent, you are incompetent.
Her implied consent to public scrutiny is the quiet engine of her success. Where Princess Diana increasingly turned towards the public for emotional gratification or validation during her divorce, and where Meghan Markle has attempted to renegotiate the terms of royal publicity to suit her own personal needs, Catherine does the opposite. She never courts public opinion, never uses the public as a therapeutic outlet, never seeks validation from the crowd. What she has realized in the long-term politics of celebrity is that the fatal mistake is letting your critics feel like they know you too well.
My family literally cut me off financially, and I had to afford security for us.
Wait, hold up, wait a minute. Your family cut you off?
Yeah, in the first quarter of 2020. But I've got what my mum left me, and without that, we would not have been able to do this. I would love reconciliation with my family. There's no point in continuing to fight anymore. As I said, life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff. But it would be nice to reconcile.
Oversharing arms your detractors. Trying to change the rules invites scrutiny. Catherine's strategy, minimal disclosure, maximum composure, shields her from the volatility that devours most public figures. Her popularity endures precisely because she does not chase it. This equilibrium is mirrored in her style evolution across 5 early eras: Girl Next Door Kate, Humble Kate, Fairy Tale Princess Kate, Regal Kate, and the People's Kate, each functioning as a calibrated visual response to the demands of her shifting role. In Girl Next Door Kate, the public glimpsed a relatable young woman in jeans, boots, and understated basics. The idealized middle-class every girl the British press loves to mythologize. Humble Kate, particularly from 2011 to about 2014, leaned heavily into high street brands like Zara, Rice, and Whistles, a deliberate blurring of class boundaries that destabilizes Simmel's trickle-down fashion hierarchy. Instead of differentiating herself, as elite groups traditionally do, she dressed the same as the public. Fairy Tale Princess Kate embraced the glamour the monarchy needed during a period of waning institutional excitement. Alexander McQueen gowns, crisp tailoring, and refined silhouettes performed continuity with royal tradition. Regal Kate sharpened that direction into a future queen aesthetic, and as the People's Kate, she perfected the hybrid, attainable pieces styled within an aspirational frame, balancing relatability with the unattainability of royal status. Across these eras, her wardrobe performs exactly what Thompson and Haidt co-identify in fashion discourse, a negotiation of identity, ideology, and social belonging. Catherine's ability to hold the public's attention without self-revelation creates a paradox. The less she says, the more meaning she accumulates.
Kate has never put a foot wrong. She is now the Princess of Wales. I can't help but think that that title is a poisoned chalice. All Princesses of Wales in the past have had problems, and Kate's the same as everyone else. She has her own problems, her own cross to bear, but she's done the job in an exemplary fashion. Kate's doing a great job at being a wife and a mother. And that's all we can expect from her.
Plato and Xenophon gave us Socrates, an enigmatic figure who is remembered through perception. Catherine's existence in the public eye is incredibly similar. We know what is said about her because she's mastered the genius of being the unknowable public figure. She doesn't need to shape perception because the audience will hallucinate the ideal for her. The more she says nothing, the more meaning she acquires. The less we know, the more we project. She tells us what we need to know and gives us what we need to feel like we can relate and connect to her. She doesn't demand that people like her or assume that they accept her. Despite her married into station in life, she seems to possess an authentic humility that draws people to her. Like Socrates, who taught through silence, provocation, and controlled presence, Catherine communicates not through narrative but through affect. Her smiles, nods, and gentle conversational cues form what you describe as her soft syntax of reassurance. The more she withholds, the more the audience fills in the idealized silhouette. This is not without giving consideration to the fact that, like other celebrities, Kate Middleton's public persona is manufactured behind the scenes by a team of highly influential tactical selected cultural intermediaries. This team has included a former US ambassador, SAS commander, and many well-known private publicists. The meanings and associations embedded in Kate's persona are, as Baudrillard suggests, produced and controlled by the various actors and institutional forces that exist within the culture industries. Thus, her handling of crises, such as the doctored Mother's Day photo and her 2024 cancer announcement, further reveals how her and her team are able to prioritize her privacy without shirking her public duties. Even in moments of heightened scrutiny, she demonstrates diplomatic precision, transparent enough to satisfy obligation, restrained and controlled enough to protect her family. This reinforces her core narrative, service without spectacle. While modern celebrity relies on confession as currency, Catherine's currency is her composure. This restraint becomes especially significant when contrasted with tabloid portrayals. From Weighty Katie to Ideal Wife and Mother, the press has repeatedly attempted to reshape, own, and profit off her image. Yet the public's perception has remained overwhelmingly positive, dipping only briefly during her unwilling to work narrative. Her consistent fashion sense, elegant public demeanor, and commitment to charitable initiatives, particularly in early childhood development and mental health, fortified her relationship with the British people. Even as tabloids clung to calling her Kate Middleton, refusing to fully grant her royal gravitas, the public increasingly embraced her as the symbol of the modern stable monarchy. Economically, Catherine is a cultural engine. Her Midas touch ability to spike sales, high street, or couture confirms her status as a consumer influencer with global reach. In 2018, research by Brand Finance cited Catherine as the most powerful royal fashion influencer, retaining that pieces in her wardrobe increased desirability among 38% of American shoppers. In 2021, it was reported that Catherine boosted the British fashion industry up to £1 billion within a year. Catherine recognizes that isolated cultural authority can no longer rest simply on royal foundations. Through her style evolution, we see how fashion and brand selection has been harnessed to refashion Kate as governing stock. Media discourses, through their praising commentaries, construct a particular lifestyle, which draw upon the discourses of celebrity, fashion, and branding. Specifically, the processes through which a celebrity's appropriation of fashion transforms a celebrity brand from being ordinary or just like us to something extraordinary, which rests on the myth of being just like us. Such a transformation is achieved during critical moments, in which finding differences through consumption practices is paramount. Lastly, it's important to consider how the British royal family is above the idea of ordinary celebrity because of the way their roles are entwined in social and historical fabric of UK society. And one of the ways it's been able to sustain itself being how the brand reinvigorates and reinvents itself. Yet, paradoxically, little is actually known about Kate's personal life. This combination, massive visibility, minimal disclosure, creates the allure that once defined Hollywood starlets. She is simultaneously everywhere and nowhere, accessible yet untouchable, familiar yet enigmatic. Her cultural value also lies in her ability to modernize without disrupting. The monarchy, as Balmer argues, functions like a firm, and its brand, the British royal family brand, must be continually renewed. Catherine merges the normal woman fantasy with the living symbol role. She is both attributed celebrity by virtue of marriage and ascribed celebrity by public fascination, synthesizing what Roheck describes as the dual celebrity structure. Through affordable fashion, disciplined comportment, and intentional relatability, She dismantles traditional markers of hegemony, presenting a monarchy that feels both stable and contemporary. Her participation in the culture industries without the commercial endorsements that define typical celebrity amplifies her symbolic power. The monarchy cannot sell products, but Catherine can mobilize taste, attention, and desire. She is the palace's most effective ambassador in an era where cultural capital matters more than political authority.
You know, you put on sort of brave-faced stoicism through treatment. Treatment's done.
Yes.
So I can crack on and get back to normal again, but actually that the phase afterwards is really, is a really difficult journey. You're not necessarily in the clinical team any longer, but you're not able to function normally at home as you perhaps once used to, and actually someone to help talk you through that, show you and guide you through that sort of phase that comes after treatment, I think is really valuable.
Her influence is further solidified through her charitable work, which centers not on self-advancement but on thematic consistency, early childhood, mental health, family welfare, themes deeply aligned with continuity and national well-being. But Catherine does not position herself at the center of these narratives. She positions the causes at the center, using her visibility to redirect attention rather than absorb it. This is why I believe she remains beloved. She represents something larger than herself. She's not important as an individual, but as a custodian of legacy. And to be clear, I don't think she's perfect. No one is. In fact, the less we know about her, the more room there is for the public to project our own narratives onto her, whether we love or hate her. Similarly to how people once did with Diana. The difference is that Diana's story is frozen in time, forever young, wronged, and mythologized. Catherine's story is still unfolding. Not only does she have more time to mess up in the future, she has had decades to evolve, succeed, stumble, and be endlessly reinterpreted by the world. Yet, irregardless of the public's opinion, she shows up, reads her lines, and retains the sanctity of her private life. Even in our modern digital frenzy, where celebrity is expected to be chaotic, candid, and emotionally unfiltered, Catherine moves with platonic moderation. She is the golden mean in a hysterical world. She is never too glamorous, too political, too emotional, or too revealing. Her authenticity is not spontaneity, but discipline. Not rawness, but refinement. In her mind, she exists as part of British history, one link in a chain of continuity, and she behaves accordingly. Ultimately, Catherine Middleton has become a cultural figure who stabilizes a monarchy that must simultaneously appear timeless and adaptive. Through a fashion-controlled narrative and strategic invisibility, she has reframed royalty as something relatable yet elevated, ordinary yet mythical. Her entire public persona functions as a bridge between classes, eras, the monarchy's past and its uncertain future. And through this balance, executed over 2 decades of evolving public expectation, she has achieved what few modern figures ever have. Durable, global, cross-generational appeal, rooted not in spectacle, but in stillness. And if you're still here at the end of this video, honestly, mwah, drop MVP in the comments so Gilly and I know that you're part of the elite club of people who willingly listen to me analyze coat dresses like I'm testifying before Congress. I appreciate you. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the video, give it a like, hype it, and let me know what you think about this analysis of Kate Middleton's style. Do you like her style? Do you think it's classic? Do you think that the monarchy is the worst thing ever? Are you anti-monarchist or do you support them? What's your opinion? Gilly would love to know. Gilly and I are so thankful that you guys could be here to hang out with us. Have a great day, stay hydrated, and we will see you in the next one, sweet baby angels.